Hey there traders, thanks for joining me for episode 1 of When the Bell Rings. I'm really glad that you're here and I'm excited to be here with you, and hopefully you've been enjoying some of our free videos as well, but I wanted to do some FaceTime here with you and start putting a little bit different spin on things and take a little bit different approach and shed some light on things in a different way. So what better way to do it than by talking about the thought process that you go through as a trader? Because ultimately it's going to be your preparation, it's going to be your growth that are really going to dictate the level of results that you're going to be getting from your trading. So that's where it all begins, okay? So here's the thing. Back in junior high, I was in the 8th grade. I took up the game of golf real seriously. And there were some kids that I saw at the course on a day in and day out basis. We played and practiced together. There was this one kid who really didn't, to be honest with you, didn't seem like he was that good of a player until tournament time came around. Once tournament time came around, this kid took it to a whole nother level. Okay, and I got a little bit jealous of that. And I remember talking to my dad one day about, this guy doesn't seem like he's that good a player, except these last few tournaments, he's been out of his head. He's careering it lately. What's the deal? My dad spoke some truth into me that day. He said, when the bell rings, he's ready to compete. And that's the truth. And I had to understand that. I had to chew on that and understand that I need to be ready to compete as well. So the same lesson applies to you. When the bell rings, literally at 9:30 Eastern each day, and figuratively, you've got to be prepared, you've got to be ready, you've got to be equipped for whatever comes along for that trading day. Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 things today that you need to work on, all right, in order to be successful as a trader. Here's the first one. The first thing, when the bell rings, you've got to be ready. What does that mean? That means you cannot fly in at the last second and sit down at your seat and expect to just pound out some money off the keyboard. Okay? You can't just come in and sit down and start pushing buttons and expect to have success. You've got to know what's going to get your attention on that day, what you're going to focus on during the day, and then you've got to follow that plan. Okay? So that's the first step. You've got to be ready for the day, mentally and with the trading plan. The second step here is going to be having the discipline to follow that plan. So when the bell rings, you've got the discipline to follow that game plan that you've already laid out in step 1. So if you did step 1, you already know what you're going to focus on that day. Step 2 is following that game plan all the way through, seeing it to completion. Okay? Every day there's news. There are story stocks. There are stocks flying around all over the place. You can chase every little rabbit that crosses your trail, and you're going to have some success and you're going to have some failures, but overall you're going to have no consistency whatsoever if you're not following your game plan steadily. And that means that in the end, you're going to at some point come to a moment where you've got to make some adjustments. You've got to make some modifications. But if you haven't been following a detailed trading plan and you haven't been doing it with some discipline, you're going to have no idea what to alter, what to make adjustments to. So you're going to find no consistency in your trading without some discipline. Okay? Then that brings us to our third part. Okay? When the closing bell rings, that's the other bell. When the closing bell rings, you've got to stick around and be brutally honest with yourself. Some trading days are longer than others. I know it's 6.5 hours every day, but some days are longer than others. Some days you just want to get up and walk off. But you know what? When that closing bell rings, don't get up, don't dog it, don't leave. Stick around a little bit longer. Have the courage to review your trades for the day and figure out what you can learn. Review the price action of the day. Understand what took place today, what happened, what were some opportunities that you may have missed, what were some mistakes that maybe were costly to you, and go back and figure out what you can learn from them. Now, we don't ever want to just live our life looking in the rearview mirror, and yet that rearview mirror can serve a purpose if we use it the right way. You glance in it from time to time to figure out what you can learn. Okay, where am I? Where have I been? Then where do I need to be going? So look back at your trades. Understand some lessons from them each day. Review the price action. Figure out what you can learn from it. And start applying that going forward. And then start moving forward. You can dismiss all that other stuff once you've taken the lesson from it. Don't beat yourself up over it. It's kind of like golf. Your score can always be a little bit better. Your P&L can always be a little bit better in trading. But review your lessons, review your trades from the day, look in that rearview mirror, take what you can, and then move forward. All right? So there's our 3 steps. Be ready, be disciplined, and then be honest with yourself. Thanks for joining me for episode 1 of When the Bell Rings. I will be back with you soon, but until then, trade like a bandit.